My mother-in-law is decking out a nursery for my baby, complete with GOP decor, and I'm trying to set boundaries here, but now she's giving me the silent treatment. My husband, 34M, and I, 29F, are expecting our first child. He is an only child and his mother, 65F, is over the moon excited. She lives about a mile away, and my husband and I both work, so she has made a nursery at her house for the baby to stay in, but more on that later. Her and I have an okay relationship, not antagonistic, but we are wildly different. I was raised by a Gen X, cool mom where we talked about everything, and I was raised to be independent. We have our fights, but it's healthy, and open communication. When I make a decision or set a boundary, as an adult, that's respected without question in my family. My mother-in-law is a more typical, traditional mom, very doting on her son who is a perfect angel. In reality, he was just good at not getting caught and telling his mom what she wanted to hear. I give the context because the mismatch between how I'm used to communicating and how her and her son communicate is part of the problem. Now the story. My mother-in-law is a Trump supporter, and my husband and I are very much not. We live in a conservative southern state and are no stranger to Republicans. Some of my closest family members are Republicans, but none of them are Trump believers like my mother-in-law. Even if they were, they respect me too much to talk about it because they know where I stand. I usually try and do the same for my mother-in-law and steer conversations away from politics when I can. It is hurtful to me that she is voting against my rights. My state outright bans abortion. Every time I go to the doctor, I'm afraid something is wrong with the baby and, as a result, I will die. I'm trying to not let her political beliefs affect how I see her, but it's hard. That's when she sends me pictures of the nursery. She's done an elephant theme. Hanging on the wall is a painting with the Republican stars and stripes elephant. I had heard about this from my husband beforehand, but didn't realize how prominent it was. She told him, I had to, I'm a Republican. When I first heard, I immediately freaked out. I think it's inappropriate to put anything political in a nursery. I know there will be some hard conversations down the road when it comes to what conversations I do or don't want to be had with my kid, what I don't want on TV, etc. Republican signage over the crib feels like a bad omen. My husband's attitude is to pick his battles. He has no problem fighting with his mom if she crosses a line, but doesn't see the picture as a big deal. Me, I feel that if a small thing is a point of contention, what's going to happen when it's a major boundary that needs to be set? He was fine with me handling the situation how I saw fit. I sent this message, the room looks great, but I can't say I like the Republican elephant hanging up there. I get y'all are, but I'm very much the opposite and don't really want that around my kid. Do you think we can take that down? It'd make me feel more comfortable. I got zero response. This isn't the first time where I've sent a message setting a boundary and gotten radio silence. Or, we'd have a conversation over the phone, and I think everything was resolved until my husband talked to her and she's still upset. To give my husband credit, he's not defending her in any way or taking her side over mine. He's just used to ignoring her, and I'm used to hashing things out. He's out of town, but when he gets back he plans on visiting in person and setting things straight. First I need to know though, am I overreacting by being this bothered? Does the situation actually warrant fighting with my mother-in-law? I do not want to set a precedent of me being uncomfortable with something and saying nothing where my child is concerned. Edit to add, just a couple of points I clarified in comments I want up top. My mother-in-law has made a baby room at her house. We have our own nursery at our house that I'm decorating how I want. We were gifted 2 cribs, and they have an empty bedroom, so I had no issue, but there was no discussion prior. I never asked my mother-in-law to babysit. She assumed she would babysit when I returned to work, which is okay. She's retired and lives close by. I have no problem, before all this, with her being a part of my baby's life. We are not in a spot where her providing childcare is make or break. I work from home and have a flexible schedule. It'd be inconvenient, but mother-in-law babysitting a few mornings a week is more for her than us. I don't hate my mother-in-law. I don't think she's a bad person. She raised a son who is a wonderful husband and will be a great dad. She didn't force beliefs when raising him. It's a situation a lot of us are facing with our parents, 8 years of Fox News and the cult of Trump changing people we love into someone else. I'm trying to see the best in my mother-in-law and not hurt her in this situation. But nobody's feelings come before what I think is best for my child. Today I spoke with my husband about my concerns. He agreed that his mother needs to talk with me when I have concerns and follow any rules I set forth. He called her but didn't think it'd be a fight, because he believes in his mom. It did not go well. He is out of town, but when he gets home tomorrow, he is going over there to have it out. In his words, I'm handling it. Second update the next day, I just heard my husband's side. He spoke with his mom for 30 minutes on the phone and it was a disaster. For anyone saying this was a way of her testing boundaries, you were right. It started with mother-in-law acknowledging she read my text but didn't respond because she didn't think it was a big deal. He said, well, it is a big deal for my wife and this needs to be resolved. She then goes into how we could use this as a teaching moment for how to be accepting. He reminded his mom she knows what our politics are and she knew exactly what she was doing putting that up. The conversation then devolved into name-calling. At one point she called him a fascist and said he needed to grow some balls if the picture bothered him instead of making it an issue when his wife said it was an issue. Very typical, your wife is the bad guy trying to keep her away from grandbaby. As you can guess, this didn't go over well. He made it clear that her issue is not with me. Now that mother-in-law disrespected his wife, he's got a problem with her. I, wife, have given mother-in-law a lot of slack and not jumped down her throat for the offensive things she said. It's mother-in-law that is putting politics over family. It was never about the elephant. He wasn't worried at first about her respecting our rules, but with how she's acting, he knows it's a problem. Conversation cut off there, but he is going over there in person tomorrow to start it right back up. He made it clear to mother-in-law this is not her child and she does not have decision-making power. I'll update tomorrow if there's any big developments, but as of right now I feel validated that something was indeed off. And I'm grateful that my husband and I are on the same page and supporting each other. OP made this update October 28th and nothing for an update yet.